Why don't you give me a sign? Like the sea that leaves a trail along that shore. It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
How do you expect high rewards if you don't take high risks? You fancy logging onto a computer and pulling some information from it?
What is the info exactly?
I'll come back to that later.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
Whoa. What a question.
Sam Bradford, I believe you're the...
I think I realised I needed to get into movies when I'd purchased a DVD of The Matrix called The Matrix Revisited, and that had 20 plus hours of BTS footage. And I had never seen any of that, and that was, showing my age a bit, that was before YouTube. That was before all of this content was just so easily accessible. And that was just like, just eye-opening for me. And I realised that's just magical. I want to be part of that world. So from there on, I just created a hideous collection of DVDs that would scale the walls in my bedroom. And I just dived straight in. Didn't look back really. But in terms of becoming a director, it was understanding at first what I wanted to do. So for me, I did tread the boards a little bit as an actor, and I realised that I was sort of second guessing what I was being told to do, and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. And maybe I should be the person telling people what to do. I actually just like to tell people what to do. So that's how, and here I am. Yeah.
I've always had stars in my eyes. I think I've always dreamed of being on the stage or on screen, and like old Hollywood, like Dorothy Dandridge and everyone, just wanting to be like them, and just those icons, and Josephine Baker, and just there's something about, I think, being being a change maker, being a black woman, and having the opportunity to tell stories in the way that you want to tell them, but just, I guess, telling stories full stop, embodying different characters and living in these sort of dream worlds, and yeah, I think that it's just always been a part of me. I've always liked, whether it was being at Theatre Royal Stratford East, or whether it was being at the Identity Drama School, whether it was doing drama and criminology at uni. This has always been like a dream, and working with these two, doing the Payday has been a dream come true. And I think it's just shifted everything, and I'm very, very grateful.
There's many answers to that question, I think. But I've always felt like with whatever I tried in life, whether it be playing in the Sunday League football team, or in the classroom trying to write an English essay, whenever I was acting or playing a character, I always felt like Neo. in terms of I just felt like, oh, this feels right. And whereas everything else, I could like work at it and get better at it, but I felt like, and that's obviously I do that with acting as well, but it just felt like it fit. And then a combination of that, I come from an entire family of total movie obsessed people, and I don't think I realised it till I got older. So as an example, every Tuesday night after school, I go to my nan's, and she'd always be force feeding me movies from the 40s, 50s, 60s, whether it be old musicals like Wizard of Oz, or like movies with Gene Kelly or Fred Astaire, or even like Matinee Idols from the old days. And she used to tell me all these stories about how they used to come to the premieres locally in Birkenhead and Liverpool. She used to write off to all of the stars in Hollywood. and the way that she watched the films and we just escaped together into these movies that as a kid I'm like, oh, some black and white thing, like I'm meant to like, what's going on here? And then you just spend an afternoon, it'd be beautiful. And also the way that she talked about them and admired them and got inspired by them, I think that was a big thing for me. So in a way, it's like I want to be one of those guys that my nan is like, you know, escaping with.
We've worked together before, quite a few times now, and we first worked together as a trinity on a short film called Double Cross, and that turned out to be something really quite special. We were being told it was great, what are you doing next? And we realised we had a sort of lightning in a bottle thing here. So the payday was always kind of going to happen, but we just didn't know how and in what form, because it's very much a spiritual sort of partner to the short film. And we went away and we do our own things, and then we come back, and once the script that we ran with was presented, it was like, this is definitely something I want to do, because it's fun, and I think it's not necessarily definable in one genre, which for me is great because I'm very much a cinephile. I like everything, and this kind of spoke to me in that respect, where I can get to play a little bit over here and a little bit over here. There's a bit of action, there's a bit of romance, there's some comedy, there's some dark moments, and then some really fun light moments. And I think what better sort of film to make for your first go than something that's kind of for everybody. Yeah, so that's what drew me to it. Once I'd read it, I read it again, and then I sent it to my DP. And I said, you're shooting this, read that. And yeah, it was just...
Telling people what to do again.
Just, let's get going, yeah. But it, you know, it was always on the cards to work with Sam and Kyla again. I knew it was going to happen. I was hoping it would happen for my first debut feature. And here we are.
I feel like the payday is the origin story in a lot of ways for the George and Jenn relationship and the George and Jenn characters. You can see Double Cross on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. And I think if you take the 8 minutes out of your day to have a look at that, it will make so much sense when you get to see the payday in all its glory, in all its kind of feature length glory, because it's these two characters. It's a version of us. It's a version of Sam and Kyla, where we just we give as good as we get. We ride with the punches, and
she's really annoying.
Can't stand him. But also, it's just as you've said about taking risks, and we know filmmaking is a risk. Full stop. How many films don't get made? How many films just never get seen? They'll never get to see the light of day. So the fact that we are so fortunate, for us to have made the film. We made the film, as we were coming out of lockdown last year. The fact that it's now available to be seen in the States and in the UK, digital downloads. We've had it in the theatres and whatnot as well. It feels like I don't know, like a dream come true, really. And the fact that we're able to do it together again and work as a trio, it's just it felt right. It's like we couldn't do this with anybody else. It has to be me, Sam, and Sam.
What was the question again? Oh, it's such a good question. I think there's a lot, and again, for people who maybe aren't in this industry or the movie business, Kyla and I, we met in 2010, and we're two actors in the London scene doing, theatre, doing some short plays and trying to get known, to get more work, to get opportunities to play more meaty characters. So a lot of it, and it is a tale as old as time in the business of, Sylvester Stallone, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and or whoever it might be, Michaela Cole, who kind of just thought, you know what, all right, I'm receiving those scripts and I'm auditioning for that, but why isn't anyone giving us an opportunity to play that character and that character? And as soon as we met, we had a dynamic, and we had a similar wavelength in terms of movies and sensibility, and we just thought we kind of came at it organically through, kind of like how a lot of stories emerge. If it was like versions of ourselves, what if, and then we put those characters there, and then the characters started picking up their own personalities, and then we just ran with that. So I guess it was kind of that way in.
It's very
for me
organic,
anyway.
yeah.
No, it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. I should have just had a couple lines, and then I could have gone home and just chilled out. No, it's an amazing moment, and I'm still in that moment now. Of we recently had the premiere, and it's the first time I've been to it where I am the leading man in it, and I've been acting professionally for 12 years, and I've done Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, War of the Worlds, lots of big, great shows that were a pleasure to be on. But I've always felt like I was given, as some people say, a cup of coffee in the big time, and then you go home. Whereas with this one, it was beautiful to have a meeting, not only on an acting level, having a character with a full arc to really get my teeth into, and to not have that pressure of, okay, so you got 2 scenes, let's make it count, and just really let it breathe and do what I got into the game to do, which is to be, play a leading role, and especially like it couldn't have been with a better person opposite or with a better person behind the camera. That's you, Bradford. That's you.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'd be surprised to meet a filmmaker that doesn't want to end up playing in this playground. For me, it was definitely the aim. I've done too many shorts that I can remember, and it comes to a point where you just have to jump. And this was the right time. I think, reverting back to an answer before, when the script was ready, it was great, but it was also the right time. Certainly for myself, I feel for you both as well. We just decided now's the moment to do it. And yeah, it's always something I've wanted to do. Film is why I got into the game. So to be able to say, that I've added to the endless library of movies that are out there.
History's been made.
It's wonderful.
Right?
It's great. Yeah. Yeah, sure. It was great because, hear me out, it was great because London was empty, which is a very unique, I hope we will never experience it again. Yeah. But because the city was locked down in a sense, it actually presented, as indie filmmakers, a very unique opportunity for us to safely go and shoot in buildings and have access to places that we wouldn't otherwise be even really given the time of day to. So we had a leg up in terms of being able to make our movie, as opposed to standard everyday how the world is running now. There's so much red tape to just get what you want, and we needed a complete building to ourselves. We needed to do fight scenes in elevators, and we needed to run up and down stairwells and be on rooftops, and that's
spoiler alert,
very problematic. I didn't say who wins.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting time to shoot during COVID, because we had to operate our sets as safely as we could. The industry rolls straight away with the punch. There was COVID supervision on set. Everybody was wearing masks and testing daily. But that still doesn't necessarily stop it. We actually had to shut production down because COVID outbreaked on our set as well, and you have to adhere to the rules that were in place. But I think overall, it was, once you get going, you're still in your own bubble, and you just learn to roll with that added challenge. And we were fortunate that we weren't shooting at the very height of it. The world had started to work out how to deal with things, and I think during the summer period as well, certainly at the start of our shooting period, it was easier to manage. But it was definitely a challenge. So it's great that we were able to do that during that time, because
there's also a sense of defiance as well that added to the, because I know when the big Hollywood movies started, like, obviously there's a big, when Tom Cruise was shooting Top Gun Maverick.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And there was it came out in public that he had an outburst with one of the crew, but it was a case of there's a feeling of defiance and camaraderie, because it's like, no matter what's going on, we're going to do our best to get this thing filmed and give people the opportunity to make a film and have work and all that kind of thing. So I think it also brought us together in it. And there's an element of cheeky defiance in the movie. And it's like whatever obstacles you're getting hit with, you got to navigate it and work with it and roll with whatever's thrown at you.
I think we're also fortunate in some ways where, because we were shooting in London, East End of London, and some other iconic landmarks, that we were able to see it in all its glory as well. I think Sam Bradford, Phil Thomas, the OP, did some absolutely stunning work where you get to see London in as I said, in all its glory, where you wouldn't have been able to if everything was still going and people were still buzzing around and stuff. So we're able to really sort of celebrate London and the city in the way that it should be. So I think that's what's so great about the Payday as well.
You're bringing them.
Bringing the big questions here, and I'm glad that Sam Bradford is the man who's willing to answer first.
Yeah. Never aim to shoot on a rooftop because you cannot control the weather.
Oh yeah.
When set build your elevator instead of rely on normal elevators because. This happened to us. It was the last day in the building that we had to ourselves, and we saved the fight sequence till last because we thought that it will burn Sam and Kyla out, so we'll do that last. 3 elevators were available to us, and one by one they started to break down. And when elevators break down, they make noises to tell you that they've broken down, which is not good for a film set because we needed to hear them talk and fight each other in them. So that was really stressful. But I think for me, the biggest kind of memory that I take away is we shot a piece outside Alexandra Palace. And it was this fantastic view, and it's a really nice moment in the movie as well. It kind of brings everything to almost a close before some fun is had. And the heavens just opened up on us, and we had a thunderstorm. And we had a bench just getting absolutely soaked, and we had only a limited amount of time at Ali Pali. And light. It was in the evening, and it was just please, and it was literally looking up and saying please just pass, and it did pass, and we had 2 rainbows, and we dried off the bench and we just absolutely knocked it out of the park, and it was sort of a moment where, can you get through this? Yes, we can. Here we go. Off we go, and it was lovely. It was really great.
Yeah. I think doing this film, I think it was crazy because I'm a mum of 2, and I had the first time I'd ever left my youngest was to shoot this film. It was my first day, and I was like, oh my god, she'd only just turned 1 like a month before. And I'm like, okay, I'm able to leave my babies, oh my God, to come and shoot this film. And that, I think that was insane for me because I was just like, because ultimately I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I do best. And yes, I'm a mum, but I'm Kyla Frye, actress, leading woman in this big kind of crime caper heist film opposite Sam Benjamin, directed by Sam Bradford. So it was just like, whoa. And then I know we lost some people, some people, like my grandfather passed, and other people passed, and during this time as well. So it was a case of having to kind of mourn and grieve and still pick yourself up and still get back into it and still I think do what would make them proud as well, and honour them, honour the legacy and stuff as well, and just getting on and doing it with a cast and crew that I absolutely love, that are amazing, were great support all round, but also very talented, also very gifted. And I think when you're working with people who have got such great talents and you've got such great energy going amongst you on the set, it's like you can't wait to get back on set. You can't wait to go to work. You can't wait to be there and make that movie magic. And I think when you watch the film, I think it's a big testament to that. I think you really get that, and you really enjoy it as a result of that.
I think now that I've had plenty of time to think about it, I think one moment that just stuck out as you guys were talking, obviously everything you guys have said, and it's a big moment, first leading role, and there was a moment when I can remember listening to James Brown on the way and getting really in the zone to just, we're doing a film that we've wanted to do for so long, but there was a really cool moment where we were kind of I don't know whereabouts this was in the filming, but obviously Kyla had already been shooting some scenes, And then I was coming in, and then there's a sequence in there's a scene in the movie where the two characters are talking they open up to each other for the first time. And so there's almost a moment where Kyla's character opens up, and then that forces my character to open up. And there was something about, because we know each other so well, there was something about Kyla delivered this piece, and it really affected me, because I could tell she was pulling on really, things that were kind of hinting at going on in the real world. And then that inspired me and opened me up to like find a whole new level of when it was my turn to deliver it. And I think there was a moment of vulnerability between us two that was both as friends that we've known each other for years, as actors in our first lead role, that we were just putting it all out there. Like, if this is the only job we ever did, we went all out. So I think that was a really cool moment.
That's sweet. I remember that.
When they see it on Monday, I would like them to take away that it's just a bit of a fun ride. I want them to feel like they've just sat down, they can chill with some popcorn, they can, just kick back and watch something that is not going to necessarily need them to start questioning life or wondering what they're doing. But it's a bit of a fanciful adventure for them to just sort of escape. And I think through Jenn, we can all relate to what she's feeling, because we've likely all felt this at one way, shape or form in our life, or we know someone that's gone through that. And it is that kind of really great what if question. What if this happened to you? What would you do? But we live that through Jenn. So really it's just a bit of fun. Have some fun, just kick back and just enjoy it.
It's a great underdog story, I think, as well. And I think the fact that you can be inspired, don't settle for less, don't settle for the stereotypes, just, give as good as you get, because life comes at you hard. Life comes at us all hard, but give as good as you get and believe in your own source.
I think I want people to watch it and belly laugh at least once.
Oh yeah,
and really just uncontrollably belly laugh once, and then have one moment as well where they maybe shout at the screen.
Yeah.
And just for the characters to just.
Yeah.
I want those are the two moments I'd like when people watch it.
And question where council tax,
expenses,
tickets go. Like, where does that money
Parking
go? Where is it being
fines.
spent? Is it just being held in some lovely account somewhere, waiting to be stolen? But don't go and steal it. No, we're not asking.
We're not advocating for any sort of criminal activity. Disclaimer.
There's a Bradford's referencing there's the loot in question in the film. It could be many things which many Brits will get a kick out of, I think.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
Just keep an ear out, let us know if anything else out of the ordinary happens. It's done.
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, with the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels. It's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.